Aside from the Nameless and possibly the bellboy Misha, Penacony has no shortage of potential villains in its story. The IPC and their backroom business deals, the fools and their mind games, the memo keepers and their obsession with memories, and even a suspicious as heck family. Out of all these groups though, it's hard to confirm if they're just out for themselves or are truly villainous. And then you have the Stellaron Hunters, intergalactic criminals with billions of credits in individual bounties and by all accounts should fit the description of being a villain. Collectively, its 5 members have toppled governments, destroyed many lives, and even stolen highly secure and rare objects. On Penacony, 2 of them, Sam and Silver Wolf, have appeared amidst the chaos. Despite Sam's intimidating appearance, a pretty ruthless backstory, and a supposed penchant for burning everything he sees to ashes, is Sam really the bad guy? That's what we'll be exploring in this video. Before we do though, if you want to see more Honkai Star Rail content, do consider subscribing to the channel. Given Penacony just very recently released, it goes without saying that I'm going to be discussing topics here that may spoil a few things. So if you haven't played through Penacony's story, you might want to avoid this video until you have. Consider this your obligatory spoiler warning. Now, this video isn't going to be an exhaustive explanation on Sam himself. But in order to determine his motives, we need to at least understand a bit about his past. Truthfully, not much has been revealed, although information revealed throughout Penacony and some relic lore bits have hinted at some of Sam's background. Weld, who refers to Sam as the Molten Knight, mentions that he is supposedly a remnant of Glamoth's Iron Cavalry, a group of genetically engineered warriors who were created to combat the Swarm when it invaded the Republic of Glamoth. The rulers of Glamoth explored every possible avenue in combating the Swarm, but given their penchant for endless propagation, it was a never-ending and losing battle. At the height of their desperation, they threw all caution to the wind and created the Iron Cavalry, a group of genetically engineered and subservient humanoids who donned a mechanized warsuit for battle. Functionally, they were living weapons, bred to only fight. In order to keep them under control, probably after seeing so many movies of how genetically engineered warriors often become unstable, the rulers of Glamoth fabricated memories for each soldier and bound their minds to a singular entity referred to as Titania. The false memories they were given made them believe that their only purpose was to defend Titania and her empire, an empire that functionally didn't exist. Ultimately, they fought and died defending this false empire, but eventually the cavalry likely learned of the truth, which we learned through the Glamoth relic set. It's unclear when the truth came to light. Some claim that it was when Titania sought to rebel against its captors after serving them for so long, while others believe it happened after the threat of the Swarm dwindled. This reveal is speculated to be the cause of the Glamoth Republic's true demise, as it's suspected that the Iron Cavalry turned on the Republic due to the unfortunate treatment of their group. What really happened, no one really knows, but what we do know is that today, Glamoth no longer exists, and the Swarm is a nightmare of the past. It's unclear what happened to Titania and the remnants of the Iron Cavalry, but given Sam is thought to once belong to their ranks, they may exist in some form, albeit in smaller groups. This is where the conversation swings back to Sam. If Sam truly is a remnant of this force of engineered mechanized beings, it gives us a bit of insight into the type of person he might be. Someone who has fought countless nightmarish bugs in the name of a fictitious grand empire, only to realize they had been lying to him, may not make him a really stable person, and he likely has a plethora of trust issues. It's a pretty sad story to be honest, as someone created purely to fight would likely not easily shed away their battle instincts despite learning the truth. His background might also explain why most describe him as decisive and ruthless, with Silverwolf exclaiming that compared to Blade or Kafka, Sam wouldn't even give you a chance to retaliate. Even Kafka claims that Sam isn't as lenient as she is, and given a target, he will take them out with little to no hesitation. Now, given this little history lesson, there's a likely possibility that Sam could be an engineered soldier while Firefly is Titania herself. Perhaps they often work as a pair, with Firefly issuing orders and Sam executing them. There's also a possibility that after learning the truth, Sam has gained free will and broken away from Titania's illusion, and perhaps Firefly is Sam. As we don't know the truth yet, some combination of this might be what is actually happening, but for now, I'm going to assume Sam is separate from Firefly. I just wanted to mention this because I was aware of it, but didn't include it in my Firefly video as I was sort of saving this for a Sam-centric video. Whatever the case may be, from this we learn that Sam is clearly a no-nonsense type of person and is the type to execute his orders to the letter with brutal efficiency. Now I know I haven't really spoken about the topic just yet, but bear with me. We need to talk about the Stellaron Hunters next before I can make my point. Given that Sam is now affiliated with the Stellaron Hunters, whatever their goal is must be something Sam is aligned with as well. About the Xianzhou Luofu, Kafka reveals that the Stellaron Hunters are working towards achieving a very specific end, something they can achieve through the script their leader Elio has developed. Elio, as most of you know, is speculated to be an emanator of finality and has abilities that allow him to see all possible branching future paths. In order to achieve this goal, the main character is unknowingly made complicit, as Kafka also reveals that they will have an important role to play in the future, one of which is to go up against Nanook, the Aeon of Destruction. Because of this, the Hunters are trying to put the main character on a pedestal, at least in the view of the rest of the universe, so that when that fated day comes, the main character would have the support of innumerable allies to assist them. And this brings us back to the title of the video. Why would I suggest that Sam might not be the bad guy here? I mean, he has a rather intimidating appearance and even threatened us when we first meet him, so he is clearly the antagonist here, right? Well, the thing that bothers me is that, like I mentioned, the Stellaron Hunters are largely working towards a specific endgame that involves the Trailblazer. All Stellaron Hunters know and follow Elio's script, and unless Kafka was lying, the Trailblazer isn't someone they would want to dispose of given he is central to their plans, let alone make him an enemy. On top of that, given his military background and training, Sam would be one of the less likely candidates among the Hunters to go against orders. Meaning, he most likely isn't trying to injure, let alone kill, the Trailblazer. In that cutscene where we see him threatening the main character, it looked as though we were clearly their target, but what I think was happening wasn't what was actually shown. Instead, I think Sam was trying to separate us from either Acheron or Black Swan, or maybe even both. When we see things from his visor's perspective, he only really took notice of these two people and not the main character. Maybe the Trailblazers' association with Acheron and Black Swan is not beneficial to the Hunters and their script, and perhaps Sam is trying to forcibly separate us. Despite the Nameless's penchant for helping everyone they come across, the Hunters may want to prevent the main character from being more involved with whatever is happening in Penacony. I might even go so far as to say that they might actually be trying to save the Trailblazer's life. I mean, if the Trailblazer dies, what really happens to Elio's plan then? The rather misleading portrayal of Sam, compared to what his objective could be, fits with Penacony's theme so far of not believing everything you see. Plus, think about it. Right now, Sam hasn't really even hurt anyone. He tried tricking Firefly into staying in the monitor room, which after defying him caused her supposed death, and every person we have seen him attacked are just the normal enemies we ourselves have been fighting. I think his intimidating appearance and scary demeanor is meant to throw us off, making us think he's the bad guy. But in truth, he might not be, and the true hidden enemy might have been standing next to us this whole time. On top of that, every person on Penacony has been shown to be either untrustworthy or lying about something. Each of them have their own goals and motivations that aren't entirely clear to us, whereas the Hunter's motives have been pretty straightforward, at least when it comes to the main character. Now, I'm not saying that they are entirely good. I mean, the Stellaron Hunters are still criminals. But when it comes to the Trailblazer, the Hunters may be the only group on Penacony that we can actually trust, given their goals and motivations are clear, while the others are an unknown entity at this point. So, while we might think Sam is the antagonist here, what if in truth it's actually Acheron or Black Swan? But that's a topic for another day. Now, before I end this, much like a lot of topics I cover, this is just a speculation on my part, mostly based on what we know about the characters so far. It's still possible that Sam is really the bad guy and everything is just as it appears. So don't take this idea as gospel or anything, it's mostly just for fun. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is Sam really the bad guy here, or are we just being misled once more? Who do you think is the true antagonist? If you enjoyed watching the video, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, have a nice day.